hey, is that the time?
Elizabeth, run some trains?
No time, David.
Okay.
Aaron,
Yeah,
are
yeah,
you
yeah,
ready
yeah.
yet? It's
Yeah,
the 100th
yes,
episode.
I'm ready.
Come
I'm
on,
ready. Let's go.
come on,
Let's go.
come on.
I know. I'm ready. We gotta get the script off the printer.
Okay. What's Mark doing?
Hey, Mark. Are you not done with that Corsair yet?
Oh man, come on, give me a break.
You know what? You know I need that next week. Yeah. There's your script. I think it's a good one.
Hey, that looks nice. Did you give me a long list of countries to memorize again?
Well, what would be an NPOV without that? I think the readers expect it by now. They like a good geography.
Right.
We got too many other things to think about.
Yeah, like the 100th episode.
Exactly, the 100th episode. I think the readers are going to be, the viewers are going to be really excited about this one. We had a lot of good kids,
on.
lots of good information. FineScale Modelers new product rundown starring Aaron Skinner as Aaron Skinner and Leah Froats as Elizabeth Nash. This episode features Airfix's wonderful Warhawk, Takom's Rockin' Rhino, Kitty Hawk's electric Etendard, and a quick look at several super stocking stuffers. New product rundown, proudly brought to you by Hobbyco, distributors of fine model kits from Italeri. Welcome to the 100th new product rundown, FineScale Modelers Christmas 2016 extravaganza. I'm Aaron Skinner.
I'm Elizabeth Nash, and I'm the best at everything. We have many new, exciting kits for the modeler in your life.
Or you, let's face it, we can all use some fresh plastic.
We have the stunning new P-40 from Airfix.
In 1/48 scale, no less, something which we and so many others have hoped for.
This kit represents the B model, as used in Pearl Harbor and by the American Volunteer Group.
The world really wants to know what's inside this kit to see if Airfix's effort finally breaks the curse of the early Warhawk.
There have been so many 1/48 scale kits that have just fallen short. The first thing to notice is the quality of the surface detail. Crisp, recessed panel lines complement fine fasteners and raised lights and things like wing walks.
Stretch fabric on the control surfaces looks realistic. The rudder and elevators are posable. Pay attention to the rudder, as the trim tab has been omitted on one side. Nothing a few passes with a scriber can't fix.
The fuselage halves look as good as the wings, and there's structural detail molded inside the rear section. The hatch for the first aid kit, also used to house a camera on some aircraft, is separate.
Also separate are the upper cowl panels over the guns. Optional long-barreled cowl gun fairings are provided, but not used in this kit.
The cockpit puts Airfix a step ahead of other recent P-40s. The depth is right with a curved floor. The Warhawk cockpit sits on top of the wing.
There's a ton of equipment molded into the walls, a sharp instrument panel, 2 types of seats, machine gun breeches, and even a fuel tank to fit into the frame behind the seat.
There's radiator mesh in the chin intakes, and optional open and closed cowl flaps.
The landing gear can be posed up with extended oleos and round tires, or down with compressed oleos and flattened tires. Airfix sells a separate stand for in-flight displays. Clear parts provide 2 windshields, one with the reflective mirror sight, the other with a rearview mirror. There's also the armored windshield, side windows with refueling cutouts, and 2 sliding sections, one slightly wider to fit in the open position.
Cartograph decals provide markings for 2 aircraft. A fighter flown by George Welch on December 7, 1941 to defend Pearl Harbor, and a Flying Tiger Hawk 81A2.
There's been some discussion online of an error in the shape of the ventral tunnel just aft of the cowl flaps. I don't know the airplane well enough to comment, but I can say that Airfix's P-40 is the best I've seen.
And it undoubtedly builds like a charm.
Next, Takom's 1/35 scale G6 self-propelled howitzer, a fascinating vehicle designed for the South African Defense Forces and still in service today.
Built in 1987, the vehicle looks like it would be more at home in a sci-fi movie.
There's a ton of parts and detail here. The hull comprises 4 major parts, including the sides, bottom, and top. All parts feature well-molded vents, bolts, welds, handles, and more.
In addition to the nicely molded wheels, the underside features suspension arms and shock absorbers.
There are also parts for the braces for the sides and spades at the rear to stabilize the vehicle for firing.
6 big vinyl tires show terrific tread, sidewall detail including embossed names and placards. The mold seam is all but invisible.
Inside the spacious hull, a brace provides support, but no other detail.
Except up front in the driver's compartment, which features a seat, walls, floor, dashboard with molded and decal instruments, and controls.
Frames hold the ballistic glass windshield and side windows. Clear plastic also provides the headlight lenses and vision blocks for the turret and hatches.
The balance of the parts go to the turret and gun. The main part includes sharp louvers, bolts, and tie-downs.
The door and hatches are posable, although there's no interior to see.
Stowage bins, racks, and smoke grenade launchers detail the exterior.
The long gun barrel is split in halves, but the front of the muzzle brake is separate, eliminating an awkward seam.
I was impressed by the fidelity of small parts like grab handles, steps, and guards. Very sharp.
Photo etch brass provides engine screens and stowage basket mesh.
The decal sheet is tiny given the size of the vehicle, but the color diagrams show 2 options, one overall sand, the other in a groovy 3-color camo.
You're right, that's a great looking kit and I can't wait to see you finish it. Next, another 1/48 scale aircraft, Kitty Hawk's Super Etendard.
This French naval strike fighter entered service in 1978 and has been used by the French, Iraqi, and Argentine forces.
Wow, there are a lot of parts in here.
The fuselage is broken into 3 main sections: the cockpit area, center around the wings, and tail.
Inside, there's a terrific looking cockpit with instrument panel, floor, multi-part ejection seat, including PE belts, walls, consoles, and controls.
Behind the cockpit is a detailed nose gear bay with molded structural details and plumbing.
There's a surprisingly complete engine with external features, front and rear fans, and a long jet pipe. No intake trunks are included.
Sharply molded main wheel bays and speed brake recesses finish the interior.
Surface detail throughout is a combination of fine recessed panel lines and petite rivets.
The wings are separated at the wing folds, but no information is provided about posing them folded, and there's little detail at the fold.
The slotted wing flaps are designed to be posed drooped and include the mid flap.
The leading edge slats are separate but not posable. The spoilers are supplied in photo-etched brass, which also provides the inner faces of the speed brakes and tail plane ceiling plates.
Clear parts supply the canopy and windshield, as well as glass for the HUD, Atlas targeting, an optional CRM 280 reconnaissance package, and navigation light.
Speaking of stores, there's a ton more here, including external fuel tanks, FiMat chaff dispenser, 68mm rocket pods, R550 Magic 2 air-to-air missiles, Barracuda electronic countermeasures pod, GBU-12 bombs, Exocet and AS-30L missiles, a buddy refueling pod, and a couple things I can't identify.
Beautifully printed decals provide markings for 8 Super Etendards, several in colorful commemorative schemes.
6 are French, the others are Iraqi and Argentine.
This is another nice release from Kitty Hawk.
To wrap up this holiday special, let's take a quick look at some recent offerings.
Starting with a welcome reissue timed for the 25th anniversary of the Gulf War.
This kit has its origins in the late 1980s, but the surface has fine engraved panel lines and tiny raised rivets.
There's a host of weapons and decent detail in the cockpit and wheel wells.
Decals are a highlight with sharply printed markings for 4 Gulf War Eagles, including a Saudi example.
If military vehicles float your boat, check out Takom's 1/35th scale Hanomag SS100, a widely used heavy tractor.
This is the first plastic kit of the vehicle in 1/35th scale, and the gray plastic parts look great. There's well-molded detail on the body parts.
There's plenty to see underneath, with springs, axles, wheels, exhaust, and more in a ladder frame chassis.
Rubber tires finish the suspension. Under the hood lurks a good-looking representation of the 8.5-liter diesel engine.
The only decals are ID plates front and back, but the instructions show 3 options.
Moebius has reissued its classic 1/8 scale Invisible Man.
The gray body parts have nice folds in the cloth, shoes, and wrapping for the head.
There's a bunch of stuff for the display base, including a table, bookcase, and book-style nameplate.
And for added laboratory atmosphere, there's a bunch of glassware, beakers, and flasks.
From Eduard, we have the 1/48 scale Folgore. This limited edition kit centers around Hasegawa's excellent Macchi C202. The parts have fine recessed panel lines.
New here are brass and resin parts for the wheels, air intakes, and radio compass.
Eduard Photo Etch dresses up the cockpit, landing gear, intakes, and more.
Cartograph decals provide markings for 6 strikingly camouflaged Folgores.
Fans of small-scale type armor will get a bang out of IBG's Type 89. Designed between the wars, the medium tank saw limited service in early World War II.
Despite the size, the kit has good detail, including rivets and vents on the hull and turret.
Well-molded wheels and link and length tracks.
There's even PE for the exhaust cover and tail skid. Decals in the color diagram show markings for a single late production Type 89 in the Philippines.
Next, the latest in Hasegawa's long line of Phantoms, a 1/48 scale Royal Air Force FG1.
Hasegawa's gotten a lot of mileage from its F4 Phantom molds, producing multiple kits of just about every version of the fighter.
But the parts still look good, with a decent cockpit, sharp panel lines and rivets, and crystal clear parts.
This limited edition release features markings for 2 number 111 Squadron Phantoms.
Finally, from newcomer Thunder model, here's something different, a case tractor in 1/35 scale. Thunder's kit includes an engine, sharp body details, and good wheels.
Parts like the push rods and steering components are super fine. Rubber tires round out the package.
Decals provide markings for 2 U.S. Army tractors in overall olive drab and a civilian version encased trademark orange.
That's a sleigh load of holiday cheer.
Look for reviews of the P-40, Rhino, and Super Etendard in future issues of FineScale Modeler magazine.
And you can see more new products in the January issue on sale now.
Thanks for visiting FineScale.com.
And for watching New Product Rundown, 100 down, here's to 100 more.
I'm Elizabeth Nash, and I know if you've been naughty or nice.
And I'll be home for the holiday watching my favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
Oh, that was a weird dream about the 100th episode.